Well, welcome back, everybody, and welcome to the winners finals of the Raidcall D2L. It's been a while for this turn, and also been a while for me. Oh my god, I'm finally back. The rumors of my demise have been greatly unfounded. Something that you'll be no doubt relieved, right? Am I alone in this?
I'm gonna stay out of this one.
Dang, it's like that! Yo, I thought you were supposed to have my back, man. What the hell?
Yeah, well,
You know, we just needed a break. I needed a break, and I've played like 2 games of Dota in the past 3 weeks. But anyway, Raidcall D2L, this is winners finals between Team Dignitas and Team Liquid, 2 best American teams, both participating in the G1 North American qualifiers. Liquid get a phase or a round 1 bye. Dignitas have to fight through. Both are in the DreamHack Invitational Tournament. Liquid also get a round 1 bye in that. Dignitas had to fight their way through, and now they're in the winner finals of this tournament. This has become quite a bit of a rivalry.
yeah, I mean, these are the 2 premier North American teams. Normally when people are talking about teams from the West, so Europe and North America, the only North American teams that even get mentioned are these 2. And of course, everybody's talking about the International 3, and most people are saying, well, if it's 2 American teams going, it's going to be these 2, because EG isn't quite in their league, and nobody else really is in Liquid Dignitas' league right now. And both teams actually are pretty good at mixing up their strats, which is something I think that's really, really important. So we can really see anything. Some teams, sometimes either of these teams will play stall, passive, farm Dota. They'll be really aggressive. Sometimes they'll push. You don't know what you're going to see with them.
Most certainly, as Dignitas has been looking very strong ever since they received Snaking back and put Fogged on the support role. Fogged has really shown, and Team Liquid always remaining consistently very, very powerful. I don't think they've won any major tournaments, but it's not like they're doing bad. I think they're winning a lot more than they're losing, but we'll take a look at the first 2 picks. Dignitas picking up the Darkseer first, and this has become quite uncommon these days. Usually with Darkseer, if you can't get a good lane, it just takes you so long to get yourself back into the game. So what do you think about this first pick of Darkseer? It fits Dignitas' style, I feel like, but, I mean, if you do shut him down the offlane, he does, in fact, take quite a while before he does become a problem.
The Darkseer pickup normally means that you're going to focus on your team fight as opposed to your lanes, especially if you first pick him. So I was going to say, oh my god, I'm going to sound like I was just saying this because they did it, but I was going to say it normally means you're going to pick up a Gyrocopter and a Magnus. Nah, believe it if you want, but basically, they have to play around teamfight because that's what Darkseer offers, and you can't get really strong lanes if you open with him, so it's more of like a mid-game teamfight-oriented lineup. And Liquid is going in for like a tower sieging sort of thing.
Yeah, Liquid picking up the Chen. I have not seen Fluff's Chen too much recently, but TC has been doing the drafting. I know Fluff has been playing a fantastic Rostin line role. Like, he just gets hexes off on important targets, and his line has been really impressive. TC has really been turning around Liquid's sort of slight slump with his picks recently, and Bulba has been definitely making a name for himself, but also playing his Sarah and Bulba heroes. But Dignitas giving out the puck, recognizing that Liquid do not have a go-to mid-hero at the moment, and trying to get rid of the Korok factor. But yeah, right now Dignitas, they have 3 experience-dependent heroes, and if Liquid go into an early tower sieging push, Dignitas could be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think most of the mids that Liquid might pick up right now don't necessarily fit the bill because a lot of the mids that are left in the pool, like Queen of Pain, like Storm Spirit, aren't necessarily going to work because they need to be right on top of a hero to actually deal damage, and Gyrocopter and Magnus just have enough damage output to sort of prevent that. So right now, I think Team Dignitas might have a little bit of an edge in their drafting. It depends on what supports Liquid's going to be able to get rid of, but I think Dignitas should have an okay draft just based on where it is right now.
Yeah, and it's pretty surprising. Lifesteal has not been snatched up, and I have been watching a bit more of the Asian Dota scene now that the G1 League has been wrapping up, and Lifesteal is picked in very high priority, and Lone Druid is picked in very high priority. Leshrac, Shadow Demon are really favored, and we're not seeing any of those. And even the Western scene, where Shadow Demon is quite favored, and as well as the Lifestealer. Neither of these teams gonna go for it. I guess it doesn't fit their game plan, but I imagine Liquid, if they picked up something like a Storm Lifestealer combination, that could work okay for them, but I guess the lanes would be all messed up.
Yeah, it would be really iffy if they did that. Because right now, basically, I don't think Dignitas is going to run a support Gyrocopter. So Darkseer has offlane Forest, Magnus is mid, probably. Gyro's probably safe lane, and they're going to try to pick up 2 supports to protect Gyro. And the reason why American teams don't necessarily place so much emphasis on the Nakes is because they don't really like aggressive tri-laning. I don't. I'm not gonna, say judging which one's better, which one's worse. But what a Nyx allows you to do as a first pick is just run an aggressive tri lane and probably win it because he's so good in tri lanes because he has rage and the slow. But if you're trying to run him as your safe lane carry, I don't know. He really lacks something if you're trying to run him as an actual hard farmer. So while he's amazing in what he does, and it's the reason why Asian teams first pick him, or I think that he's first pick material, he's not actually first pick in North America just because these teams and most teams won't run an aggressive tri lane.
Also, I don't think it would fit Liquid's game plan because they have to rush into the base, and that's just easy pickings for the Darkseer vacuum into RP to call down and Flatcan, and it doesn't fit Dignitas Slam because, hey, they already have 3 experience-dependent heroes. But Liquid bang out the Bane, so who's left in support capacity? Shadow Demon is surprisingly left untouched, and Shadow Demon is probably the best support in the game at the moment for both scenes. He's just really, really remarkably strong, and a bit puzzling to see why he's made this song, but again, Liquid pretty much have a defined game plan. They win in the early to mid stages of the game, and with the lineup they currently have, they don't really have that strong of a roam, so Shadow doesn't fit in with them. Meanwhile, Dignitas want to sit in one place, they don't really want to roam. They're going to pick the Shadow Shaman, so that's going to be quite a nice addition. So if Chen pushes one lane, Shadow Shaman could potentially, if he manages to hit a fast level 6, could just easily bring down another tower, which could provide a bit of pressure for Liquid's side. And of course, Clockwork cannot venture forward in threat of that shackle into Rocket Barrage that will most certainly be applied on the safe lane.
Yeah, and while they're obviously going to have a way of killing Clockwork now, which it's actually really incredibly difficult to do because of cogs, I think that it's still a little bit iffy because Shadow Shaman against Clockwork, while he's good against him in the first couple minutes of the game, Clockwork's just got a tunnel vision on the Shadow Shaman throughout the game and just make sure that he isn't ever in any single fight. Like, right now, of all the targets on the enemy team, you're going to be going for the Shadow Shaman, like, every time.
No doubt about that. Liquid definitely realizes the power of Shadow Shaman, having run it quite a bit themselves. And Liquid, we'll see what they decide to go for right now. They might want to pick up a mid, but who is left in the mid-solo pool that they could possibly snatch up? They might be forced to put Clock mid or Lone Druid mid, which I'm sure would not be the best. They're going to pick up Queen of Pain, man. How can I forget this hero? And yeah, it's just sort of how powerful every other mid-solo is now with Bottle Crowing. That sort of Queen of Pain has slipped off of mine. And it's also because of that break I took. So, Queen of Pain, kind of an obvious choice when you look at it now, but what do you think about the quad pick? The Orchid will definitely help against Darkseer and Shadow Shaman, but Dignitas' lineup is pretty tank. Gyrocopter will build tank, Darkseer will build tank, Magnus is naturally tanky, Shadow Shaman seems to be the only reliable target. So Liquid, I'm a bit iffy about their burst damage.
Yeah, well, Liquid doesn't really have any burst damage aside from Quap, but the biggest issue is she can't blink on people. If she ever blinks on Magnus, and I'll be right back to you after this, but if she ever blinks on Magnus or Gyrocopter, she gets blown up and then she can get held in place for like 20 seconds by Shadow Shaman. So I think they were kind of forced into it. It doesn't really synergize with them. They just wanted a strong mid laner, and she is like the best mid laner against Magnus, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense, as Nature's Prophet is going to pick up for Dignitas, and it most likely will be played in support role, because, again, I have not actually seen Dignitas run support Gyrocopter ever since they made the switch back to snaking, so I think this will be carrying Gyrocopter, and it's going to probably be a jungle Nature's Prophet for the most part. Probably handled by Way Too Sexy, I'm not too sure, but Liquid, time is ticking, and they need one last support. Who will go nicely? They're going to pick up the Rubik. It seems pretty good against the Magnus and Darkseer, but again, where is he going to find the levels? That could be an issue for him.
Yeah, well, he will be in a dueling capacity, so I think he'll just probably sit in lane for the entire time, and you'll normally get some pretty decent levels if it's like a 2v1 scenario. And with it only being Chen and Rubik, I think that they'll feel very confident sending Universe actually down to the lane to just kind of farm. I don't think we'll have to go to the jungle that much.
Yeah, that could definitely be the case here, as we're waiting for the heroes to pick up their teams. Finally, the Winners Finals. This tournament has actually been ranked since the middle of December, so it's actually lasted longer than defense for a little bit less money, but still, nice tournament, a lot of top-tier teams. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be sorry to see this tournament end, just speaking kind of bluntly here. But yeah, it's still nice to see some high-octane Western Dota, since a lot of the Eastern Dota has been covered recently. So it should be a good matchup. It's been a while since I've seen Dignitas play against Liquid, and it should be overall a fun matchup, as these two teams definitely have a bit of a rivalry. I don't know if you guys watch Mad, but AUI and Bulba definitely have a go at each other, and of course Monolith being the manager of Dignitas also on the show. They definitely like to poke fun at Bulba.
The best is when every time I see these two teams play each other, someone always says something. It's usually Bulba who says something that's sort of interpreted or can be interpreted as like a compliment or like a good luck, have fun, but most of the time it's not. Like when I see them say GLHF Bulba, I don't really see that as like I hope you have a great game. I hope you see it as I sort of see it as being fake mannered and they all know it. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but
It's it's a North American style. It's pretty
yeah.
much just pure North America. I mean, they do it in Europe as well, but they're all friends here. I mean, all the North American players, top tier, probably play with each other, or they play an IXDL. Do you play an IXDL?
Sometimes on a different account, but not that much because there's too much flame for me and I can't handle it. It's too much.
Your skin is too weak. I'm
I
disappointed.
know.
Yeah, well, when we play team matchmaking, you do the big flames.
Ah, that's true, but I'm just a minor league compared to those guys.
Anyway, we'll just go over the players and teams really quickly. Way 2 Sex is playing Nature Swap, Fogged is playing the Shadow Shaman Universe, is playing the Darkseid AUI, is playing the Gyrocopter, and Snaking is playing the Magnus. Beyond the side Liquid, we're gonna have TC playing the Lone Druid, Korok is playing the Queen of Pain, Fluff is playing the Chen, Bulba is playing the Clock, and IX Mike 88 is gonna be playing the Rubik. And Chen, do you have a smoke? Of course you do. And saving a bit of gold as well. What do you think this is for?
Well, a lot of times as Chen, you want to save gold so that you can get sentries if you realize that your entire jungle is blocked, which some teams will go really out of their way to do that. But other times you can get a fast Basilius and get down the tower push really, really fast. So obviously both of these situations are viable, and in this case he says, nope, I don't have to get rid of, I don't have to buy sentries to get rid of their obs, so I'm just going to farm. That's probably going to be a fast Basilius into a fast tower push.
Meanwhile, Bulba getting quite lucky getting himself an invisibility room. This might be a bit of a double-edged sword, as he is getting experience, but he's not really keeping control of the creepy gully room with the cogs trick that you can do. But since Fogged is pulling, and since the rain did not ward off that pull spot, that could be a slight issue. But Bulba just going to stay in one spot, block off the pull camp yet again. So, so far, Bulba not getting too much experience, but definitely annoying the Shadow Shaman, preventing him from getting levels. But ultimately, this does favor AUI. Meanwhile, on the top lane, Lone Druid is just farming up. And IX Mech going to take a bit of harassment, but should be just fine.
Yeah, and this is a little bit odd, this the way these lane setups are, simply because both offlaners are going to get experience in a 2v1 lane. This doesn't happen very often anymore. Usually it's just like hard tri lanes, but I guess because both teams knew that they'd be, IX Mike, I think he'll be okay. Yeah.
Oh, Universe surged, but realized he was a bit too close to the tower. You can do that against Lone Druid before he hits that level 5. And actually, there's been rumors since Lone Druid might get nerfed, Tangle might be removed to level 7. But that's just rumors and hearsay, of course. But
I'm not going to say what I've heard for, it's just speculations purposes. It's no hard facts. Did you see the fake leak changelog?
oh my god, that would have made me cry. Like, literally.
The person putting it together, I feel, has played Dota maybe twice. I don't know. Well, it shows me what I know if it turns out to be real, but anyhow.
Yep, Fluff has picked up a Centaur, gonna give him some nice attack speed, and a bit of pressure will be applied to the tower, but they have no Siege Wagon, so this will just give Darkseid a lot of experience. Maybe they figure Darkseid's already getting experience,
Watch,
so
Fluff's
might
gonna
as well.
fucking go around behind, I bet. Watch.
Ooh, that could be an opportunity, as there are no wards for Dignitas spawning out. They pushed a lot of defensive wards, but Fluff actually not going from behind, staying on the side, and his Universe potentially gonna hurt down the bear a bit, forcing a resummon, and Fluff is gonna just stand there menacingly on his boar mount.
Yeah, I guess you gotta do what you gotta do. Unfortunately, the Universe is still getting experience, and he's gonna move in. Oh, yeah, they're gonna go.
I don't think they would have killed him anyway. They have no damage.
No, they should have had Fluff going from behind with the Centaur, and then you can get a guaranteed stomp and a bunch of auto attacks off, and the tower isn't an issue. And then maybe they would have killed him and gotten into a tower push. But as always, whenever I start talking, for whatever reason, my dog starts wanting attention. He's fine until I start casting with you. So I'm going to go let him in, and then hopefully that'll be it for him for the next half hour.
Okay, sounds good. While SK does that, Korok has a haste rune, going to provide a lot of pressure to Snaking. Snaking could be in a lot of trouble, going to skewer away, trying to rush away. Korok potentially thinking about a dive, going to blink away to safety, knowing that if Snaking had enough mana for Shockwave, well, he didn't, but still, that could have been an issue for Korok, so he's going to play defensively. Snaking just going to Ball Crow, and this is the power of Magnus in the mid lane. There is no other melee hero who can do this as effectively as a Magnus with the low mana cost, and with the immense amount of damage to Shockwave, so even Queen of Pain Gonna be a bit pressured, but I'm sure she's just gonna do the same thing. Quidipane will have rune control, of course, but still, I mean, Magnus, of course, all he wants is levels and farm, and ultimately will probably have a bigger impact in the game than Quap if she doesn't manage to get her mojo rolling. And meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Bulba, level 1, and Universe, on the other hand, is level 4, I think. This could be an issue very soon.
I'm actually a little bit surprised that Bulba's on level 1. I guess he really is playing extremely defensively. If he gets gone on, he should live, but nobody wants to really take that risk. This should, maybe, probably live type thing. And in a passive game, you really don't want to feed First Blood. So he's just going to probably go stack Ancients, which he hasn't done yet, and maybe just wait till the lanes break down to start getting some experience. But he should get some now.
Yeah, one thing that was kind of a problem for Universe is that TC was, of course, doing a magnificent job denying creep, so Universe actually used all of his mana on Ion Shells and Surges and actually didn't have enough mana for Bottle or Soul Ring, so was forced to go back all the way to the base. Definitely gonna hurt his experience, but meanwhile Fog gonna rotate in. Bulba gonna be able to hit level 2, gonna perhaps take a bit of missile damage, only level 1 missile, pretty standard build by AUI, and Bulba just gonna tank it like a man, but still, Fogged with that catapult, gonna do a lot of damage, and will there be a rotation? I don't know if they can bring down this tower. Maybe they can, with the next creep wave actually arriving relatively soon. Yeah, the tower is actually going to fall.
Yeah, and the thing about Liquid's lineup is that they have really immobile heroes. Chen can't really just decide to be somewhere and get there. Same with Rubik, but that's due to mana costs, not him having to bring his army with him. So I think that Dignitas is going to back off for a little bit and then start pushing again soonish. Because they can't really get the second one. If they go for the second one, there will be a rotation from Rubik.
Meanwhile, similar engagements happening on the top lane. Dignitas is going to force out the Glyph, and the Bear is getting driven away. The Iron Shell doing so much damage, it could potentially cost a tower deny, but Fluff is going to rotate in. Universe wants to get the kill, and IX Mike going to rush in recklessly. Way Too Sexy going to teleport in. Universe going to get locked in place here because intensive face, and the Root Dota, not enough to save the life of IX Mike. Now Way Too Sexy might very well end up perishing for his insolence to teleport in. Going to be chased down relentlessly by that Bear, saying, now you are going to be endangered, as the Warcraft ley line so eloquently stayed, but Snaking gonna teleport in, picks up a kill. TC gets a double kill on the Darkseer as well as Nature's Paw, but Snaking gonna rush in, skewer TC backwards. Definitely can't kill TC and gonna have to rush away, but overall, that did favor. I think
it favored Dignitas. They got 2 kills that they shouldn't have gotten, and that tower was going down anyway. And nobody cares if you're, Furion and Darkseer dies.
I care.
But Chen dying is kind of a big deal. Well, you're just a better person than me, I guess.
I thought you were going to say nobody cares what you care about, and then I think I would have just closed down this cast and go on to another week-long casting hiatus spree. But thankfully, my soul has not been crushed just yet. I'm just going to wait for the weekend and hopefully crush Luminous' soul instead. But anyway,
TC. Get behind.
Yep, TC just going to farm up 2,200 gold in the bank. It'll be interesting to see what TC goes for, as there will be a Blink Dagger played by the Magnus sooner rather than later, so that could be a Radiance build. But more often than not, we see the Armlet build.
Yeah, he's going to do Armlet Mjolnir, I think. Or Maelstrom. I always forget which one's smaller. And the smaller Lightning. That's pretty much every lone druid, when they're given safe lane, is doing this build now, simply because it gives you so much. For about the price of Radiance, your Bear just gets into this like unstoppable juggernaut, and it's terrifying. So, I don't know. Do you know if Ice Frog said that the Armlet change is coming? Because my friend said that he commented on it, but I don't remember yes or no.
I've never talked to Ice Frog, but this was in Dota 1, so I know for sure this is in Dota 1. I don't know if it should be in Dota 2, but as it is, I mean, it hasn't been changed for a reason.
Yeah. It's really, really strong. For anybody who might not be sure about why it's so good, just because of the mechanics, obviously the not draining HP is pretty decent, but the Armlet gives so many stats at the expense of draining HP. Like, that's what makes it balanced on heroes. So if it's on the Bear and doesn't drain HP, even if it doesn't give the plus strength, it gives a whole lot of other stuff.
The armor, especially when sieging on towers, the damage cannot be underestimated. The HP regen, healing out the Bear. I mean, like you said, the strength is significant, but ultimately it doesn't mean too much when you don't have to worry about the HP regen. And the Bear, naturally very tank anyway, so it's not really that big of a deal, but we might see engagement on AY very soon. Fluff gonna rotate in. Dignitas did not have any wards spotting out this rotation, and AY is gonna get lifted up into the air. Bulba gonna trap into the cog, saying, "What's up, bro?" As the shockwave is gonna fly in. Bulba gonna take a lot of damage from the rocket barrage as well as the call down. Hand of God gonna fly in, saving the life of Bulba, but a beautiful reverse polarity by Snaking. The king has arrived, and he smells blood. Snaking gonna hunt down Fluff, and that boar, he ain't gonna be playing AUI for just a bit, And way too sexy. Gonna be surrounded by these creeps on all sides. TC gonna come in as well. Oh, way too sexy. Trying to sprout the bear, but Korok gonna blink in, get a double kill. Universe should be okay, but the Sonic Wave was saved. And Korok picks up a triple kill. All things considered, I don't think that was that bad for Dignitas. 3 for 3, and AUI survived.
Dignitas got the kills that they were looking for, and the people they lost weren't the important heroes, but the issue that I see is now Korok's actually going to have that fast whatever item he's going for. Now, I think Korok usually prefers Silent Stick, but in this game it would make, at least to me, and I don't play anything like him, but it would make more sense to open BKB on him, because then you can actually dive on Gyro, you can dive on the Shadow Shaman and kill them like so fast, but he'll probably get the Silent Stick. And in that fight, something kind of weird happened. When they were going in and, you know, initially starting the fight, instead of IX Mike picking up the gyrocopter and throwing him towards the Chen creeps, he himself was standing in a place that blocked the Chen creeps from accessing it, and then Aoi hit on the side of the cog so he couldn't get clapped, and he lived because the thunderclap couldn't happen. And I don't know if that was a great decision to, you know, start off the gank that way, and it turned out I think it wasn't. But AOI should have gone down. Liquid, I think, tried to get a little too fancy.
And meanwhile, Dignitas gonna be pretty content. They've only lost 1 tower, and again, pushing into the base could be an issue for Liquid. They have Chen creeps, but Chen only gonna remain effective for so long. It's already 10 minutes in the game, has not finished a mechanism, as Fluff has been doing some rolling, but is 0, 2, and 4, and again, have only picked up 1 tower. I imagine once they pick up the mechanism, that'll be the immediate attempt to start a push, because he will hit level 7 at a similar timing. And Dignitas, the question is how much farm can they get going on Way Too Sexy. He picked up Sentry Wards, and I think this is pretty standard for Way Too Sexy. No matter how late he gets a Midas, he will still go for Midas.
Yeah, I really know nothing about him as a player, simply because I never ever play against him in pubs or whatever. So the only really times I see him play are when I cast with you. So I don't... Does he always get a Midas, like even in this situation?
Always on Nature's Prophet, and he's been doing a lot of jungle Nature's Prophet.
Well, it makes sense against the Chen, definitely. Against the Chen, you always want a Midas if you can, you know, spare it.
Yeah, and I guess the experience growth is quite useful. I mean, he's only level 6 at 11 minutes into the game. Definitely not the best farm. But yeah, I think a more split pushing heavy item, once Liquid Push does come in, could benefit them for a bit more. But Snake can initiate on IX Mike, Ion Shell, and Shockwave, scaring IX Mike away. Bulba gonna trap Snaking into the cogs. RP gonna get cancelled as the Centaur Sun gonna come in. It whiffs as Snaking able to skewer out, but here comes TC on the pursuit. Skewer is down, hook in onto Fog to Rasta will certainly die. Here comes the root, and the Sonic Wave going to be used to clean up the kill. Universe arrived to the party just a bit late, and Team Liquid going to pick up a 3 for 1. All they lost was a Rubik. They're going to be more than happy to take that exchange any day of the week. IX Mike maybe not so keen on that, but still, Dignitas must be feeling a bit worried, because now Liquid Fluff going to have the mechanism. Hits level 7. The bear has not died just yet, and this is getting to be a very scary point in the game for Dignitas.
And it's about to be a whole lot more scary when Korok gets his item in about 6 minutes. I don't know what it's going to be, but whatever it's going to happen is going to be like a major game-changing thing. You can Hex the Magnus before he can do anything. If he gets the Silent Stick, he can actually start blinking on people and killing them. So, and I think that now we get another triple kill. He can skip the BKB and go for a big item. Like, he can be safe with it.
Snaking 1k gold away from finishing that Blink Dagger. As you could see, the RP was not be able to cast. Again, only getting a Clockwork would probably not be the best decision to get for that engagement. At least now they have the threat of saying, hey, we still have RP. You might not want to go for a team fight in the near future. You don't know how close I am to that dagger. So that could be a slight mind game, but AOI trying to go for the Shadow Blade, as he pretty much does this every game as well. And Shadow Blade, of course, a really strong split push item, gives him some nice attack speed, some damage, a means to escape from split pushing scenarios, but I'm not too sure how I feel in this game. Like, I guess it's really good, because Liquid, like you said, lacks mobility aside from Korok. So, in retrospect, I guess it's a good item choice.
Yeah, I mean, the far western scene, meaning North America, really does love their Shadow Blade on Gyro. And I think a lot of other places, you know, emphasize getting the BKB up much faster, if not like the first item after drums. But if you look at AY, he doesn't have any health. He has the stats from Aquila, and that's it. So if he ever gets caught, he's dead. He's just trying to not ever get caught by going really, really fast. We'll see if it works.
One thing that could be an issue is that Universe, despite getting a lot of experience on the offlane, only level 8 at 13 minutes in the game, and this is the problem with the Darkseer, is if he gets off to a bad start, he will have to spend a lot of time just farming it up. As meanwhile, Liquid gonna smoke in. They have 3-hour smoke of Bulba already revealed. I guess he wasn't caught to the smoke. Snaking, gonna get spotted out. IX Mike trying to get the lift going. Gonna lift him up into a barrage of Chen creeps, but here comes the Shadow Shot Lord snaking. The King may very well die. The King does not live very long as the Bear is going to come in as well. Here comes a buyback by Snaking. He has the RP, wants to go back in, but they already picked off Bulba as well as IX Mike. And Meow Fogged is the only other death on the side of Dignitas. TC going to be forced to run away, but TC might very well die. They are going to use an RP for this Bear, most definitely. As, yes, there it goes. Way too sexy, going to teleport in. Korok trying to man it up. Gonna just have to man down as TC gonna get picked off. That was pretty important, as not only will the middle tier 1 tower die, they finally killed TC, Darkseer did not die, and they got to use an RP in a very, very good situation. That must be feeling, well, the tier 1 tower actually not gonna die.
Yeah, they're gonna defend it. And, you know, Korok is just gonna bottle up, he's gonna heal a little bit, and he's got his Orchid done. This might be the fastest Orchid I've ever seen from a mid-quap in a competitive game.
The Dire best do something.
Yeah, he is 8-0-0. Not the best CS, but I mean, he's killing heroes. What more can you want from a guy? Come on.
He's got more than 4 creeps a minute, which is like the lowest you can have in a good game. But if he has this many kills, it so much more than makes up for it. And I think he's just going to silence either the Shadow Shaman or the Magnus. But we saw a little bit of the issue that I talked about at the beginning of the game in that fight. And that when he was the only person there and he was trying to fight people, he couldn't because they had so much damage. He just had to run away. And it's a problem with Queen of Pain. You sort of dance around the edges of the fights and never really commit until you can just blow somebody up. But he can't really blow them up because they're way too tanky. And they can just kill him if he ever gets caught. So I'm impressed with how he's been playing, to say the least. Like, the fact that he's doing this well against their lineup it's big.
Aegis goes on to the Queen of Pain, meanwhile Dignitas, knowing that they couldn't contest the RP was not up, decided to farm some ancient stacks. And Liquid might be looking to push in. Hand of God is online. They have level 8 Chen, so he has those 3 creeps in tow, I do believe. He should. He does, I think. I just need to double click him. No, he only has 1 creep.
He's only got 2, I see, yeah. Well, he might have gotten the other one killed or denied it or whatever, just so that he can get a good third one. Because a lot of times you do that if you have a crappy third creep, but it was the most recent one you converted. You obviously can't get rid of your whole army for it, so.
Meanwhile, AOI just going to split push up top, forcing a teleport in by Korok. And, yeah, Liquid have a bit of a timing window. They want Korok to be aggressive with the Aegis. They want to go in when Lone Druid's at its most powerful, when Shen's at its most powerful, when Darkseer is not particularly that powerful. But Darkseer, level 10, has the wall, and the question for Liquid is, how can they push into the base against this team fight? And honestly, I don't really see a reliable way unless they get at least 2 pickoffs.
Well, it's sort of okay now that Korok has Aegis because he can blink in, do a little bit of damage, die, and then come back when everybody's low. So if you hookshot in on, say, the Rasta, it doesn't really matter if you get RP'd and killed because the Bear's going to continue doing damage and then you'll come back and they'll be low. So if he didn't have the Aegis, it'd be super hard, but I think he'll be okay. I think.
Well, way too sexy building towards an Orchid on his own part. He will have it faster than Korok will have. No, Korok actually, if he wants to go for BKB, only about 1900 away, so way too sexy. Might be a bit too late if he does go for the Orchid before Korok picks up his BKB. But Meow and Liquid just going to 5-man it up. They are sacrificing big experience, but they're getting towers. They're definitely seeing results from this. And if we take a look at the overall levels, you can see Liquid actually has a level advantage. So Liquid looking quite strong at this point. But overall, the graphs seem to indicate Dignitas really not that far behind. The goal graph is actually only 1.5k in favor of Liquid. About to be a bit larger after this tier 2 tower is taken. But the experience graph actually, despite what I said, is dead even. Because the supports and the clockwork is so leveled. And this is the problem with clockwork sometimes. He has to be in the midst of everything. That's what the hero does, but he'll just die once he gets focused down.
Yeah, it's kind of the tragedy of playing that hero. You go in and you kill all their entire team and you just die instantly. And then you're like, wow, great job, guys, we did it. And you're still dead. So, it's just the curse of the hero, I guess.
Way too sexy, just going to teleport out. Liquid picked up another tier 2 tower. They're going to go for the bottom lane. How much time do they have done? They just still quite a while. Dignitas might make a move towards mid. And Gyrocopter going to go for the BKB himself, pulling the creep wave. And with the Empower, he does actually, not really that much damage. Only 150, which is not that impressive for Gyrocopter. But this middle tower will most certainly take a fall, and that's going to be nice for Dignitas. They're finally going to get themselves back onto the board. Actually, the tower might very well get denied, so scratch that. Might not even get denied.
Yeah, the wards aren't going to do that much damage. They're just going to get farmed. And the tower isn't even in deny range, so that kind of sucks. But I think Dignitas realized that, yeah, Liquid will just destroy us and take all our towers if we try to fight them. So let's not fight them. We'll go mid, distract them, then we'll go top, and we'll have Fury on TP all over the place. And yeah, if Liquid wants, they can get these next 2 towers super easy. But Dignitas is just going to do this. Hashtag RatDota.
Yep, RatDota for the win, as we definitely seen it in effect by Fnatic and a lot of other teams. I mean,
yeah,
most
no,
teams.
It's not just Fnatic.
Most teams.
Every team does it.
Pretty much every team except for Empire.
Yeah.
But TC gonna pick up the bottom tower, but the mass army of treants and woodland creatures, the tier 2 on the top tower will actually fall faster. So Liquid gonna get some towers, but they're not gonna, I don't know, they might be forced to defend this. They might not even be able to take this bottom tier 2 tower. They're gonna see a defense by Bulba, but one clock cannot hold off an entire army on his own. He can't stall the inevitable with a clock cog, but that's going to force a TP on the bottom lane. Necrobook level 2 picked up by Korok. They want to end game fast, but Dignitas, will they let them? I don't know, the Aegis is going to time out relatively soon. This might be just a bit too long Liquid or 5-manning for.
Yeah. It's really unfortunate when you're stronger than the other team and you just want to kill them, and then they won't let you because they just run away. And by no means, I'm not blaming Dignitas for this, for saying they play in a cowardly playstyle. What they're doing right now is smart. It's just frustrating for you when you're ahead and you actually can't utilize it.
Well, Liquid gonna have to push in with that Aegis relatively soon. It's only gonna last for 1 more minute. Korok has a Necrobook level 2, so getting a bit more tanky, but still has to worry about the Shao Shawn. And now the silence is up on Way Too Sexy. Snaking has a dagger, Fogged has a bracer. Holy shit, bracer. But he's gonna be a bit more tanky. Darkseer has an plate mail, so Korok gonna have to be a bit cautious for once this Aegis times out, and it's gonna time out. So Liquid, what is it supposed to do? Who do you think has the advantage right now at this current state of the game? I mean, Dignitas have lost all their towers, but I don't know. I feel like they have overall a better game plan.
I think they have a better game plan, but I'm always cautious when your game plan is a 1 core as opposed to having a 2 core. So Dignitas, basically what that means is Dignitas relies completely 100% on AUI to carry this game for them, because they don't really have anyone else who's capable of doing it. Whereas Liquid has 2 heroes who are capable of carrying the game. And if we look at Lone Druid, he's got his lightning item and his armlet. Queen of Pain's got basically her book 3 and her orchid. Both of these heroes are going to be game changers, whereas really only Dignitas has 1 hero that can carry. And Bobo hookshots and misses, and that's really good that missed. He should be thankful.
Yeah, would have found himself between a Magnus and a Rasta. Never a good position for a Clockwork. I mean, Quap was in nearby proximity, but still, that's only just a couple seconds afterwards. AUI actually not farming the best, 131 CS. Definitely not what he's accustomed to, but more importantly than anything, he's surviving, which is definitely what he wants to be doing, and just continue to teleport around the map. And this is sort of the stage in the game where it's a bit awkward for a pushing lineup, because all the creep waves are pushed out. We don't have an Aegis to break the high ground. They have good team fight, but we have better items. What are we supposed to do?
Oh, yeah, I was going to comment on something. One of the best ways to beat a gyrocopter, and I don't think people do it that much, is with, or any AoE carry really, is with Necronomicons, because they can't stop themselves from killing it. Like, you can't not kill it if you're a Sven or a gyrocopter or whatever. You can't control where your actual hero deals damage. So if you get a big, a big Necro minion out and it gets killed by the enemy carry, that's more than half of his health gone, almost all the time. And that's what this Necrobook is for, I think.
Yeah, but I don't know how much.
Breaking the base.
Yeah, I think that's more importantly, because that Necrobook factor will be a lot less important once AUI picks up the BKB, but it'll still be relevant, I mean, with the Darkseer, Iron Shell, and everything. So yeah, it'll still provide quite a bit of damage, because Dignitas' entire team, except for Nature's Prime, pretty much does a lot of AoE. But Liquid trying to get in position to perhaps push in, but Dignitas, once again, not going to allow that to happen. And once again, to get into this little dance of death, where it could be an issue. And again, you said the dual core on Liquid quite strong, but Queen of Pain not that effective once people get BKB, and Way Too Sexy gonna build into more and more DPS items. And I don't know, whenever it comes to a mid to late game scenario, I always gotta bet on the side with the RP, especially an RP backed up with the Darkseer. with a Chen and a Clockwork on your side, I don't know. I think Dignitas have overall a better game plan.
I think their heroes and game plan are really good, but I think just because, like, and 100% because of Korok's just absolutely amazing start is why right now I think I favor Liquid a little bit. But yeah, you're right. Right now this game can go either way. He's using his Necrobook to deward, pretty smart.
Yep, but the unfortunate side back is that your Necrobook will be on cooldown, and it will be on cooldown for the next minute, but Liquid not going to pressure the base until Aegis is back online, and Dignitas, the question is if they want to contest it. They have good Roshan teamfight takers in the form of Magnus as well as Gyrocopter and Darkseer. And Gyrocopter finally going to finish that BKB relatively soon, about 150 gold, as that mana burn creep being so annoying. And do you think Dignitas should fight this?
No, I think they should just let it fall and keep farming. It's not even a big deal at this point if they get the Aegis, because if it's on Syllabear, he still has to transform back, right? And if it's on Queen of Pain, the enemy team is tanky enough at this point that if they kill her instantly, they won't be low enough by the time she comes back for it to really be a huge threat. So Aegis isn't as scary as it was anymore, and you can still split push with Furion. So I would just let him get Roshan. It's no big deal.
Snaking, hiding in the woods, wants Korok. Korok does not suspect a thing. Snaking, waiting for the jump. Here comes the RP. Nature's probably going to teleport in. The Wrath of Nature going to pick up the kill. Korok gives up a huge value to Way Too Sexy. Going to feel his next DPS item. And Korok does have buyback, but it'll cost him majority of his gold. TC and IX might going to try to help to reinforce it. The Universe going to surge away, trying to scuttle on out of there. Snaking, can he escape? He has a lot of heroes on his tails, but Bulba going to initiate onto Universe, getting a nice hook shot in. Here comes Mechanism, Snaking, vacuum into call down. This is the Dignitas team fight that we were talking about. Universe does get picked off, but he did his job. He's got the wall down. AUI going to get entangled. Root Gaming going at its best. Liquid TC will be picked off as well. Liquid trying to hunt down Dignitas, but the one point in the game where Liquid did not have wards up, they did not see the reinforcements, and that's what's going to cost them the top racks, it looks like. Wow.
Yeah, two things. One, that's why they call him the king. Or why he calls himself the king. But that was actually pretty smart, hiding on up there and then just killing Korok. But the other thing was that that's why you don't really want to pick Clockwork against a Darkseer, because you saw what happened. Bulba used Cogs, and then Universe vacuumed the enemy team into their own Cogs, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, what else are you supposed to do with Clockwork Darkseer? If you don't cog him, he's just going to surge away and just be so annoying. If you do cog him, he vacuums your team into a wall, and then it's just going to be a nightmare. But Dignitas going to claim very easy barracks, as Korok was not willing to buy back. I think once he saw TC engage, it might have been appropriate for him to buy back, but I guess he really wants that next big item. I guess he might be saving up for that BKB, because now Liquid, they're up against a Nature's Prophet and a Gyrocopter. It's not going to get any better for them, especially with a Chen and a Clockwork, who are underleveled and underfarmed. They're going to have to go soon.
I think it was smart to not buy back. I think I would have bought back there and then realized that it would have been stupid about 5 seconds later, because even if he was alive, the rest of his team wouldn't have been. He couldn't get to where his team was getting murdered in time to save them, so then he'd have bought back and been ready to fight, and then his entire team would have been dead. So he saves his buyback, he saves his money, and now they're going to get Roshan. And that, normally at this point in the game, when it's fairly even, a Rax isn't a big deal, but if it's a side lane of Rax against a Nature's Prophet, that's just like the most annoying thing in the world. So it's actually a pretty big deal. And I think you were right, Dignitas is just executing right now really well.
Bulba gonna initiate with the hooks. Universe once again gonna be caught, but Bulba gonna be the first one to perish in this assault. AUI just doing immense amounts of damage with the flat can. Darkseer is gonna die as well. AUI's BKB is running down ever so slowly, but Way Too Sexy is now back in the midst of everything. Gonna reverse polarity onto Korok, recognizing he did not have the Aegis, so they gave it to TC. TC forced to run away as fast as his life can depend on it. The missile just gonna be a bit too slow, but Liquid, they took the Roshan, but they took 3 deaths in the process. And Dignitas' teamfight just looking too strong. And
this is going to be... I think this is another lane.
I mean, it's so hard to take an engagement in the river against Magnus and a Darkseer.
Yeah, and I don't know what Liquid can do to turn this game around at this point.
Yeah, AUI not even doing that much damage yet. He's only going to get scarier and scarier. Here comes Snaking, going to skewer Fluff back into the Shan Lord's Fog. Going to be more than happy to pick that up. They got the bear. The bear is on cooldown. this will most certainly be middle barracks, and seeing that TC is not resummoning the bear immediately, even with the Aegis. They know the bear is on cooldown. If they kill the bear once more, this could perhaps be game snaking. Gonna go to work on the middle barracks. So there's gonna be a telekinesis. Bulba once again gonna trap him in the cogs, but now BKB's up on the king. Bulba trying to run away. One more shot of the flat can will finish him off because he can splash on buildings for some godforsaken reason with gyrocopter. And the bear gonna get hexed down. Only just a cuddly chicken instead of a cuddly pen, and definitely not fearsome to the side of Dignitas. Dignitas going to take the second lane of barracks, going to smoke up. I think that was actually spotted by Liquid, but it looks like they're just going to use the smoke to escape
It's
rather
a
than
runaway smoke, yeah. It's like, a lot of times you'll see if a team won a fight, and then they realize they're not that fast, and the other team's really mobile, and they want to get away, they'll smoke to run away. Like, it's not how the item was intended to be used at all, but you can't deny that it is a good use of it.
Way Too Sexy maliciously destroys a double damage rune because double damage lone druid can still pack quite a punch, but now it's 2 lanes of barracks against a nature's prophet. This is going to be really, really difficult to say the least, especially since Liquid has not picked up any kills. The experience graph, gold graph, spiraling out of control. Not that big just yet, but once you see the final numbers, it'll be quite scary for Liquid fans. And really, what can Liquid do? They have the Aegis up, but it's not going to be up for long.
Here's what needs to happen. And it can't be done by any virtue of them. It has to be done by Dignitas messing up. They have to kill Way Too Sexy. He has to buy back. They have to kill him again. And then they have to push in. It can't be done without that. He needs to be dead. Because if he's alive, you're going to get megas. So, at this point, if for some reason he dies 2 times, that's when Liquid can push in and try to take a Rax. And at that point, maybe they win the fight, maybe they lose it. But they can't even have that fight until Way Too Sexy's dead without buyback.
Darkseer gonna pick up the Shiva's Guard. AUI has the Eagle Song in his belt. Magnus again has a BKB, probably gonna work his way towards a refresher or even a damage item as Way Too Sexy. Gonna go to the work. Dignitas looks like they don't want to let Liquid initiate. They want to dictate the fight on their own terms as the bear gonna be caught out. The bear will have a second bear up relatively soon, or we'll have it up actually right now, but Fluff gonna use Spot Out, snaking, running around invisible, try to spot the perfect RP, gonna skewer IX Mike backwards. IX Mike never knew what hit him, as the bear is going to get stunned in place, going to get sprouted, and there's not too much the bear can do. Going to Clone Blade out of there. Here comes the vacuum. They're going to kill off the Spirit Bear. Bulba going to be another casualty of war, as the Orchid going to go down onto him. Universe picks up the kill with the Iron Shell, and Liquid just crumbling to pieces. Fluff going to be the next death, and this should be GG very, very soon for Dignitas.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't really understand why Liquid opened with the heroes they did. Like, opening Furion Chen, or Furion and... I'm so sorry, I said the wrong hero. Opening with Silver is all well and good, but then getting a Chen immediately after and getting, I believe, a Clockwork, it doesn't make that much sense to me, because what Dignitas did is just said, okay, we're going to beat you with teamfight. Because they had no answer to teamfight at all, like nothing. And Dignitas banned out all the teamfight heroes that would have been scary, and then went from there, and they won, and it was a good draft. So, I'm not going to say it was just that. I think that Dignitas played really, really well, but...
The strobe light's going down by snaking, as Throne will perish, and that's going to be 1-0 in favor of Dignitas in the winners finals of the Raidcall D2L League. If Dignitas win this, they are guaranteed at least $3,000 over the course of a 4.5-5-month tournament. But still, $3,000 is definitely not something you're going to shy away from. But yeah, guaranteed $3,000 if they win the next matchup. So thanks for watching. We'll be back with Game 2 very, very soon. I'm B-Ballin, and this has been Shredkid, and we'll see you in just a bit. Thanks for watching, everybody.